The broke teen Ozzy Osbourne and Prince trained to become a rock star before we begin this emotional tale. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Voices of Darkness, because the story you're about to hear might change your heart forever. The late November sun in Santa Monica painted the entire street in shades of gold and faded orange. The air smelled faintly of ocean salt, car exhaust, and roasted coffee drifting from cafes along Broadway. People moved in waves, tourists laughing, locals rushing, students chatting. But at the center of all that noise stood a single boy who seemed frozen in time, 17-year-old Leo Martinez. Thin, slightly underfed, black hair messy like he'd run to the wind, his backpack slung over one shoulder, and his eyes, deep brown and burning with a longing he couldn't hide. He stood in front of Marvin's Music and Repair, a tiny shop squeezed between a laundromat and a flower kiosk. Inside the shop window hung an old but beautiful used electric guitar. The edges were worn, the chrome faded, but the body still shimmered with character. The tag hanging from the neck read, $3.50 for someone else. Maybe it wasn't much. For Leo, it felt like the price of the moon. He pressed one hand against the window, the cold glass chilling his palm. His breath fogged the glass, slightly point one day. He whispered inside his mind, maybe one day. But he knew one day wasn't coming anytime soon. His father had died 3 years before from a heart attack, unexpected, cruel, and devastating. His mother had taken 2 jobs since then, cleaning rooms at a hospital during the day and restocking shelves at a small grocery store 3 nights a week. Bills piled up like unplayed records. Dreams had no place in their household anymore. Survival was the only melody. Still, this guitar, hanging in the window, was the only thing in his life that ignited something bright inside him. He swallowed hard, turned away reluctantly, and took 2 steps backward, preparing himself for the painful decision to walk away again. He didn't know that just a few meters away, behind the window of the Broken Cup Cafe, 2 legendary men were watching him very closely. Inside the Broken Cup Cafe, tucked into a booth near the window, sat Ozzy Osbourne, 65 years old, sunglasses on black, leather jacket thrown casually over shoulders, sipping his espresso like it was whiskey. Across from him sat Prince, elegant as always, wearing a deep violet shirt with silver buttons. His presence felt like velvet, soft yet incredibly powerful. They rarely met like this anymore. Both carried heavy schedules, heavy histories, and different worlds orbiting around them. But today had been unusual. They both had meetings at the same studio in Los Angeles, and they both, by pure cosmic accident, chosen this cafe to unwind for a moment. Ozzy leaned back, exhaling. Bloody hell, it's been a while. Feels good to have coffee without cameras shoved up my nose. Prince smirked. It's only been a few months, Ozzy. A few months is a lifetime for old bats like me, Ozzy replied with a grin. They were mid-conversation when Ozzy suddenly paused, his gaze drifting to the window. You see that? He murmured. Prince followed his line of sight. There, the boy, staring at the guitar like it held the secrets of the universe. Ozzy narrowed his eyes. That look, I've seen it before. Prince's voice was soft, but sure. So have I. Where? Ozzy asked. Prince tapped his own chest. On us. Years ago. Ozzy smirked. Yeah, back when we were scrappy little goblins. Prince shook his head, laughing quietly. For a long moment, they just watched Leo. Watched him stare. Watched him struggle internally. Watched him walk away with shoulders heavy with disappointment. Ozzy leaned forward. That kid's got fire. Actual fire. I see it clear as day. Prince nodded. I can feel it too. Ozzy's grin grew wider, mischievous, excited, almost boyish. You thinking what I'm thinking? Prince raised an eyebrow. Probably. Let's go ruin his afternoon by changing his damn life. Prince chuckled. Lead the way. Leo had barely taken 5 steps down the sidewalk when a voice behind him called out, Excuse me, mate. He froze. That accent. Thick British, slightly raspy, he turned slowly to an older man wearing black sunglasses and a worn leather jacket stood there, hands in pockets, casual as if they'd known each other forever. Beside him stood another man, graceful, composed, quiet, wearing a purple shirt that almost seemed to glow in the sunlight. Leo blinked. Yes. Ozzy stepped closer. That guitar, the one in the window. You've been staring at it for a solid 10 minutes. Leo felt his cheeks burn with embarrassment. Oh, sorry, sir. I'm not trying to be weird or anything. I play guitar. Or I try to. But I don't have one of my own. Ozzy studied him with surprising gentleness. You any good, mate? Or do you just dream big? Leo's posture stiffened slightly, a rare spark of pride igniting. I play. I've been practicing for 2 years. On a broken school guitar. I watch videos at the library because we don't have Wi-Fi at home. Prince stepped in, his voice smooth as melted honey. And what kind of music do you play? Leo swallowed nervously. Rock. Old school rock. Sabbath, Zeppelin, Deep Purple, real music. Ozzy's jaw dropped dramatically. Did you hear that? Real music. Bloody hell, I like this kid already. Prince smiled his quiet, mysterious smile. I like him too. Leo blinked again, confused. Sorry, who are you? Ozzy burst out laughing. Oh, this is going to be fun. Prince waved a hand politely. Not important right now. What matters is, do you want to show us what you can do? Leo hesitated. Show you what? Where? Ozzy pointed down the street. There's a rehearsal studio 2 blocks away. We know the owner. Come with us. Let's hear your playing. Leo's heartbeat shot up. Fear, uncertainty, curiosity, hope. His mother's warnings echoed in his mind. Don't follow strangers. People can lie. Be careful. But something about these men felt different. Safe, warm, familiar, and the music inside him, the aching desire to prove himself, overpowered everything else. He nodded slowly. Okay, let's go. 10 minutes later, they were inside a small rehearsal studio. The air smelled faintly of dust, wood, and old amplifiers. Guitars of all sizes hung on the walls. A drum kit sat silently in the corner. Faded posters of concerts from the 70s and 80s were plastered everywhere. Ozzy picked up one of the guitars and handed it to Leo. Show us. Anything you've got. Leo held the guitar carefully. His hands trembled. His breathing stuttered. His heart thumped like thunder. But the moment his fingers touched the strings, everything inside him changed. He inhaled once, deeply, and began to play the intro of Iron Man. Not perfectly, not flawlessly, but with soul, with truth, with emotion. Every note carried pieces of him, his childhood, his father's old tapes, the broken strings of the school guitar, the hours spent practicing in silence. Ozzy and Prince exchanged glances, long, knowing, astonished glances. This kid wasn't normal. He wasn't average. He wasn't pretending. He had it. The spark. When Leo finished, Ozzy clapped loudly. Bloody brilliant. Do you know who wrote that riff? Tony Iommi, Leo replied. Black Sabbath, 1970. And do you know who I am? Ozzy asked. Leo shook his head. Ozzy removed his sunglasses. I'm Ozzy Osbourne. And this, he pointed to Prince, is Prince. And you little rock star just played my bloody song in front of me. Leo's entire body froze. His breath vanished. His knees nearly collapsed. What? He whispered, eyes wide, lips trembling. Ozzy laughed, that wild, unmistakable Ozzy laugh. That's the reaction I was hoping for. Prince stepped forward, placing a gentle hand on Leo's shoulder. You have something special, Leo. Something raw and beautiful. Leo couldn't speak. He felt like the world had split open and poured magic into his life. Ozzy leaned in. How'd you like some free lessons, mate? A few hours a week. Just music. No money. No nonsense. Leo blinked hard. Why? Why would you do that for me? Ozzy grinned mischievously. Well, Sharon says I need a hobby. Said I should find something that actually learns. A dog was too much responsibility. So here you are. Prince shook his head, smiling. Don't listen to him. The truth is, your talent deserves a chance, and we want to give you that chance. Leo's throat tightened. His eyes glistened. Yes, he whispered. Yes, I want this. I want this more than anything. That evening, Leo walked into their small apartment with a strange glow in his eyes. His mother, Maria, was at the kitchen table, surrounded by unpaid bills, rubbing her tired eyes. She looked up instantly. Leo, You look different. What happened? Something good or bad? Leo sat down across from her. Mom, I met Ozzy Osbourne and Prince. He swallowed. And they want to teach me guitar. For free. At first Maria laughed softly, assuming it was a joke. But when she saw the seriousness in his eyes, the tremble in his voice, she felt something shift. Fear. Hope. Confusion. A mother's instinct screaming for caution. Lo, this sounds too good to be true. Are you sure? Are you safe? Are they who they say they are? Leo explained everything. The studio, the playing, the laughter, the way Prince spoke, the way Ozzy joked. Every detail. Every moment. Slowly, Maria's eyes softened. Then she exhaled deeply, tired but full of love. Your father, she said quietly, always knew there was music in you. He would be so proud. Leo's eyes filled with tears. For the first time in years, hope, real hope, filled their tiny kitchen like warm light point 3 days later. The sun was sinking behind Santa Monica when Leo arrived at the small rehearsal studio. He showed up 30 minutes early, his breath visible in the cool December air, his hands shaking from nerves and excitement. He paced outside the door for a moment, rehearsing what he would say, "Don't sound stupid. Don't embarrass yourself. Don't mess this up." Then the door swung open. Ozzy stood there holding a massive cup of coffee and grinning. Early are we? Good. Lesson number 1, mate. Hungry musicians succeed. Lazy ones don't. He stepped aside, motioning Leo in. Inside, the studio looked almost magical that evening. Prince sat tuning a guitar, his purple shirt glowing under the warm lights. Soft jazz hummed from a tiny speaker. The room felt calm, a temple of music, but Leo felt his heart pounding like a drum solo. Prince glanced up and smiled warmly. Relax, Leo. Music is about feeling, not fear. Leo inhaled shakily. Ozzy patted him on the back. And don't worry, kid. The worst that'll happen is you hit the wrong note, and we laugh at you for the next 40 years. Leo let out a nervous chuckle. Okay, he whispered. Right then, Ozzy clapped. Lesson time. One evening on a freezing December night, Ozzy sat Leo down and told him a story he would never forget. Leo, you know Tony Iommi, right? Leo nodded. Of course. Ozzy leaned forward, eyes intense. When Tony was 17, your age, he lost the tips of 2 fingers in a factory accident. Kid thought his life was over. Thought he'd never play again. Leo swallowed hard. But the stubborn bastard didn't quit. He made his own prosthetics, changed his technique, lowered the tuning, and became one of the greatest guitarists of all time. Ozzy tapped Leo's shoulder. So when your fingers hurt, when your back aches, when you feel like you can't do this, remember Tony. If he didn't quit, you bloody well won't either. Leo stared at the floor, tears gathering in his eyes. I won't quit, he whispered. Never. Ozzy nodded proudly. That's my boy. That night, Leo practiced for hours after returning home. Riffs, chords, transitions. The posture Prince showed him. The strumming Ozzy taught him. Over and over and over, his fingers blistered, then bled, then throbbed with sharp pain. But Leo didn't stop. Couldn't stop. Because for the first time in his life, he wasn't afraid of pain. Prince's words echoed in his head. If your mind is afraid, your music will sound afraid. Ozzy's voice boomed. Don't stop unless your guitar catches fire. And somewhere, faintly, Leo imagined his father's voice. Keep going, son. I'm listening. He played until he physically couldn't move his hands. And he smiled, because he knew real musicians bleed before they shine. By mid-December, something inside Leo had changed. He no longer walked into the studio like a nervous kid. He entered like a student ready to fight for his future. He practiced relentlessly. He wrote down every word Ozzy and Prince said. He repeated each technique until it became second nature. Prince noticed a difference immediately. During one lesson, after Leo finished playing a complex riff Prince assigned, the purple legend crossed his arms and tilted his head thoughtfully. Your hands have learned discipline, Prince said softly. But your heart is learning courage. Leo blinked, unsure how to respond. Ozzy, sitting on a small amp nearby, smirked. He means you're improving, kid. Dramatically. Even he's impressed. And trust me, he's not impressed easily. Prince rolled his eyes. Unlike some people, I don't use shouting to teach. Ozzy shrugged. Works on me. Leo laughed genuinely. Something he hadn't done much in the past year. One cold December evening. Something extraordinary happened. Prince walked into the studio carrying a rectangular purple case with silver clasps. The moment Leo saw it, he knew it wasn't ordinary. Ozzy glanced at it, eyebrows raised. Oh, bloody hell. Prince, you're going sentimental on us today? Prince ignored him completely. He placed the case gently on the table. Leo stared at it with wide eyes. Prince looked at Leo and spoke in a tone that was both calm and deeply serious. There are moments in a musician's life that change everything. The first song that moves you, the first lesson that shapes you, and the first instrument that becomes a part of your soul. Leo felt a tremor in his chest. Prince opened the purple case. Inside was a stunning, worn, beautiful guitar, deep violet with small scratches, signs of years of use, and a unique warmth radiating from it. Leo felt his breath leave his lungs. Prince continued, This guitar, I played thousands of hours on it in the 90s. It's not brand new. It's not flawless, but it is real. It carries history, sweat, and soul. He gently pushed the case toward Leo. I want you to have it. Leo's eyes teared instantly. He shook his head. And no, sir, I can't take something like this. This must be worth. Prince lifted one finger. Value isn't measured in money. It's measured in what the instrument becomes in your hands. Leo took a trembling breath. But why me? Prince looked straight into his eyes. Because I see the fire you're trying to hide. And because one day, this guitar will be part of your story. Ozzy clapped Leo's back so hard he nearly toppled. Take it, kid! Before he changes his bloody mind. Leo reached out with both hands. His fingers shook so violently he almost couldn't lift the guitar. It felt warm, alive, sacred, he whispered. I'll take care of it. I promise. Prince simply nodded. I know. January arrived with cold winds and new challenges. Leo had become quicker, sharper, more confident, but he still didn't feel ready for the world outside the studio. Ozzy disagreed. One freezing Thursday evening. Ozzy stood in front of Leo with his arms crossed and a mischievous grin. Right, mate? We've made some calls? Leo blinked nervously. Calls to who? Prince walked in, standing beside Ozzy like a calm shadow. Venue owners, Prince answered. Small places, real crowds, real pressure. Ozzy slapped a small flyer against Leo's chest. Open Mic West Hollywood. Next month. You're performing. Leo's hands trembled around the flyer. Emmy? On stage? In front of people? Ozzy nodded. Of course you. Who else? Leo swallowed hard. I've never performed live. What if I mess up? What if I freeze? What if... Ozzy cut him off. Then you bloody freeze. And then you thaw. And then you play anyway. Prince added quietly. Perfection is not the goal. Presence is. Leo looked between them, the chaos of Ozzy, the serenity of Prince, and realized they were exactly the teachers he needed. After a long pause, he finally whispered, Okay, I'll do it. Ozzy grinned wildly. Attaboy. Prince placed a hand on Leo's shoulder. You're ready, Leo. You just don't know it yet. The night before performance, Leo couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, could barely breathe. He sat at the edge of his bed, clutching Prince's purple guitar like a lifeline. His mother stepped into the doorway. You're nervous, she said gently. Leo nodded. I'm terrified. She walked over and sat beside him. When she spoke, her voice was soft and trembling, but strong with love. Leo, when your father was alive, he used to say something. He said you were born with music inside you. He said even as a baby, you hummed before you could speak. Tears blurred Leo's vision. He believed in you, she continued. And I do too. And tomorrow, when you stand on that stage, he'll be with you, right beside you. Leo wiped his eyes. Mom, what if I'm not good enough? Maria placed both her hands on his cheeks. You don't have to be good enough for the world. Just be good enough for yourself. Leo leaned his head against her shoulder and cried quietly, not from fear, not from anxiety, but from the overwhelming love and hope he felt. January 28, 2015 Leo didn't go to school. He sat on his bed all morning, legs shaking, heart thundering to be why evening. He felt like he was walking toward his own execution. But when he stepped into the small venue, his breath stopped, because there, sitting in the very front row, waving like lunatics, were Ozzy and Prince. Ozzy cupped his hands around his mouth. "Gio, get him, rock star." Prince lifted 2 fingers in a calm salute. Leo almost laughed, almost cried, almost fainted. He walked to the backstage area. His heart felt like a jackhammer. His hands were ice. His mind screamed, "You can't do this. You're not ready. Run. Run now." But then he remembered his mother, his father, Ozzy's wild confidence, Prince's faith, the purple guitar now resting in his hands. He took a deep breath. When his name was called, he stepped onto stage. Light blinded him. The microphone towered over him. 50 strangers stared. But Leo didn't see any of them. He saw only 2 men in the front row, Ozzy Osbourne and Prince, his mentors, his believers, his protectors. Leo lifted the purple guitar he played. The first few notes were shaky. His fingers slipped. His voice wavered. But then something happened. The music took him. Like a wave, like a heartbeat, like destiny. He played a song he had written himself, raw, emotional, stitched from memories of his father, the struggles of his mother, the dreams inside him. The melody carried Ozzy's energy. The softness carried Prince's soul. The courage carried his father's love. And suddenly, Leo was no longer afraid. When the final note rang out, the room fell silent for 3 seconds, then erupted applause. Shouts, whistles. Ozzy stood up and whistled louder than everyone. Prince smiled, soft, proud, glowing. Backstage, Ozzy grabbed him in a tight, sweaty hug. Bloody hell, that was phenomenal. Prince shook his hand. "You're not a student anymore, Leo. You are a musician." Leo cried, fully openly, and neither of them teased him for as the applause died down. The venue owner approached Leo. "Kid," he said, "that was solid. Want to perform here again next month." Before Leo could respond, Ozzy slapped his back. "He'll be here. Count on it." Rick laughed and walked away. Leo looked at his mentors, stunned. "Did that really just happen?" Prince nodded calmly. "That's how it starts." Ozzy grinned. One gig leads to another, and another, and another. Leo held the purple guitar close. He felt like he was holding the future. February came fast, too fast. Leo had barely processed his first victory before the second performance date arrived. This time, the venue was a bit larger, 80 seats instead of 50. More lights, more noise, more pressure. Prince couldn't come that night due to a studio session, but Ozzy sat in the front row, arms crossed, sunglasses on indoors, as dramatic as ever. Leo stepped onto stage and everything went wrong. His tuning slipped. Twice. His hands shook so badly he missed entire transitions. He forgot lyrics. His pick fell mid-song. His voice cracked. The audience was polite but confused. Some whispered. Some chuckled. Ozzy's expression never changed. He simply watched. After the final awkward note, Leo walked backstage and collapsed onto a metal chair, head in his hands. "I messed up," he whispered. "I completely messed up." Ozzy walked in, leaned against the wall, and said, "Yeah, you did." Leo looked up, eyes burning. Ozzy continued, voice low but firm. "And that's brilliant." Leo blinked. "What?" Ozzy walked over and squatted in front of him. "Kid, listen carefully. Every legend, me, Prince, Tony, we all bombed. We all crashed and burned. But we didn't quit." Leo swallowed hard. "You think this is the end?" "Nah, this is the beginning. You survived failure. That means next time you won't fear it. You'll play through it." Leo slowly lifted his eyes. "But what if I fail again?" Ozzy smirked. "Then you fail again. And again. Until failure gets tired of you." Leo wiped his eyes. "I'll keep going." Ozzy patted his shoulder proudly. "That's my boy." March came with rain and gray skies. This time, Leo walked onto the stage with a calmness he didn't recognize. His hands still shook. His stomach still churned. But his mind whispered, "You survived once. You'll survive again." Ozzy and Prince both sat in the front row this time, side by side, chaos and elegance in 2 seats. Leo began to play it. He wasn't perfect. He missed a chord here and there. But he didn't freeze. He didn't panic. He didn't apologize. He kept going. And to everyone's surprise, the audience didn't even notice his mistakes. They clapped warmly. Some cheered. Some even whistled. Backstage, Prince squeezed Leo's shoulder. You didn't chase perfection. You chased honesty. That's music. Ozzy grinned. You didn't screw up nearly as badly as last time. Improvement. Leo laughed through tears. He was growing, healing, strengthening. Believing that April's concert was the first time Leo felt excitement instead of fear. The venue was packed. Nearly 100 people. He carried Prince's purple guitar proudly. He tuned it with confidence. He breathed like Prince taught him. He channeled energy like Ozzy drilled into him. When he stepped onto the stage, he felt at home. His first song was an original. His second, a cover of War Pigs. The third, a soft melodic piece inspired by his mother. BYDN people stood. Some whistled. Some shouted his name. Leo didn't just survive, he owned the stage. Ozzy hugged him so tight he couldn't breathe. Bloody brilliant, mate. Prince simply whispered, You're ready for the world now. In early May, Leo used the money he earned from his performances to buy a small, second-hand guitar, a MP. IT wasn't fancy. It wasn't loud, but it was his. He carried it home like it was a treasure chest. Maria cried when she saw it. You bought this with your music? Leo nodded. With my own hands. She hugged him tightly. I'm proud of you, Mijo. July came thick with heat. One night, the three of them met in the studio, but something felt different. Ozzy wasn't joking as much. Prince wasn't tuning endlessly. The air carried a strange, bittersweet heaviness. Prince suddenly put down his guitar. Lo, we need to talk. Leo stiffened. Prince continued. You've learned everything we can teach you. The rest you must discover on your own. Leo's heart sank. Oh, our lessons are over? Ozzy immediately jumped in. Hey, not over. Just changing. Prince nodded. We're not saying goodbye. We're saying go. Go struggle. Go grow. Go find your own voice. Leo felt his throat tighten. I'm not ready. Ozzy shook his head. Ready is a myth. If you wait until you're ready, you'll never do anything. Prince stepped closer. You're more ready than you realize. Leo's eyes filled. So you're leaving me? Ozzy placed a hand on his shoulder. No, kid. We're letting you fly. Prince added softly. And if you ever need us, we're here. Leo hugged them both tightly, his tears falling silently. The purple guitar rested beside him. His future rested ahead of him. And for the first time, the road didn't look scary. IT looked possible. August brought warm nights and new beginnings. Leo found a small cafe offering open mic sessions. No payment. No spotlight. No mentors. Just a mic, a stool, and a crowd who didn't know his name. He stepped up, heart pounding softly. Not with fear this time, but with purpose. He lifted his guitar and he played. The room wasn't full. Some people listened. Some didn't. But Leo didn't play for approval. He played because he had become what he always dreamed of, a musician. After the show, he walked home under a quiet sky, feeling taller, stronger, and more alive than ever. 2 days later, Leo's phone buzzed, a message from Ozzy. Heard you did your first solo show. Proud of you, mate. Keep going. His heart jumped. Then a second buzz. Prince, your journey is yours now. Make it count. Leo smiled, wiped a tear, and picked up his guitar. He strummed the first chord of a brand new melody, a melody that belonged to no one but a melody that would shape the rest of his life. 9 months ago, he was a kid staring at a guitar through a shop window. 9 months ago, he was lost, broken, uncertain. Now, he was Leo Martinez, musician, student of legends, son of a proud mother, and owner of a dream that had finally begun. And this story was only the beginning. Before this story ends, tell me one thing. If you love Ozzy Osbourne, then share this video now and help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers. Prove your love by hitting like, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to Voices of Darkness. And don't forget, comment your name, so maybe your name will be used in our next story.